Welcome back to Winners and Losers, the show that looks at the highs and the lows around world football this weekend. Before we get going with the weekend's madness, we are still giving away 5 copies of FIFA 19 courtesy of our mates at EA Sports. All you got to do is follow the below Instagram handles and comment #GiveMeFIFA
Simple.
on the most recent post. Let's kick off with the talking point though, because as usual it seems, I'm not happy.
Get your feet off the table.
They're staying on the table.
Have some respect. Now listen, we tried to navigate away from Manchester United. We've covered them quite a lot on Football Daily recently, but it's impossible. They're inescapable. And now, having lost to West Ham, we have to cover them yet again, because this is their worst start to a Premier League season in 29 years.
Jose.
Since Patrick Van Straten was born. Now, West Ham, usually comfortable opposition for United, the Hammers having only previously won 1 out of their last 19 Premier League fixtures against them. Felipe Anderson and Victor Lindelof, OG-ing it up, put the home side 2-0 up. But Manchester United have won more Premier League matches when 2 or more goals down behind at half-time than any other side, with 6 victories coming from a losing position. I guarantee they were all under Alex Ferguson. That has not happened since he left.
True.
So since 92, United have been the comeback kings from 2-0 down, but chances are that's not happened under Moisey, LVG and
There's a surprise.
Jose. But glimmers of hope when Marcus Rashford scored a lovely near-post flick. It was his first touch after coming on from a corner as well. Did you see Pogba coming off the pitch?
Yeah.
Jose trying to get in a little hug.
I mean, it's almost like that was a pre-thought-of statement by Jose Mourinho.
As big a
it
one
was.
as playing McTominay at right centre-back? Probably not. You're probably going to talk about that. You'll probably have a rant in a second, won't you? However, that hope didn't last very long, because Arnautovic scored 3 minutes later.
The state of that defending.
Mark Noble was pulling, he had your midfield on strings in this game, and when that's happening, that is totally unacceptable. Mark Noble hasn't ran a match since West Ham were in the Championship, and he's made a mockery of your midfield in this game. He was everywhere. He was like Jorginho.
Oh.
Anyhow, since the start of 2018, only Mo Salah with 24 goals has had a hand in more Premier League goals than Marko Arnautovic with 17. That's 10 goals and 7 assists for the big Austrian centre-forward. And he's the focal point of that West Ham side. He was a very willing runner in this game. A couple of wasted opportunities. Actually could have had 2 goals, but took his finish very well. Not exactly elusive between the centre-halves. You could have put an ice cream truck through them, but...
An ice cream truck? We could have parked a jumbo jet in the middle of them.
Took it well. You can't even park the bus properly anymore. What's going on?
I don't know, but let's watch a VT of him moaning about something. Jose Mourinho, as usual. Pathetic.
But every player is a different player. Every player is a different person, like you. You are not the same. You are different people. You are a different personality from your fellow on the left and your fellow on the right. Football players are the same. Scott McTominay is a kid with a special character. He's very humble. He's aggressive in the right positive way. He's brave. So he's a special kid.
Let's have a look at the XG in this one then, because Pato would never forgive me if we didn't. 1.3 to 0.6 in favour of West Ham. United did have more shots on target, but only 4. So not great numbers. I'm not sure how much longer this can really last now. It's pretty much coming to the end, in my opinion. Now, United are obviously now 10th, 9 points behind City. I think they're already 20 behind them on goal difference. We've got a -2 goal difference at this stage of the season. I think I saw a tweet yesterday that summed up perfectly. Man United's attack right now is the only attack in the league that wouldn't cause our defence any trouble. It's so true. We're an absolute shambles at the back. I think in this game we played 5 at the back for most of the first half.
Yeah.
Because we were so deep. We had 2 defensive midfielders in Matic and Fellaini. The front 2, Martial and Lukaku, I've never seen something so isolated. It was horrendous. They were just right up top. And every time we headed it out, Declan Rice just went cheers and passed it on.
North Korea vibes. People tweeting about Declan Rice like he was Bobby Moore in this game.
I know. It was absolutely ridiculous. I thought Jose got it totally wrong tactically. To line up with a 3 and Scott McTominay on the right-hand side is absolutely abysmal. Ashley Young was vile. He gave the ball away 32 times. I honestly don't know where to start with Man United right now. There's only one option, and it's to sack Jose Mourinho, because if we lose to Valencia at home on Wednesday, this could honestly go nuclear.
The other big news in this game was that he dropped your boy Alexis Sánchez. So not only has he got massive issues with Pogba, he's got massive issues with someone who's picking up 350k a week.
I know. Well, obviously he berated Alexis Sánchez in front of the whole squad before dropping him from the squad. So that's gone down well. Yet more great man management from Jose Mourinho. But what I will say is there was also a tweet I put out on the weekend where Jose said Martial was not doing enough defensive work, which kind of proved that he should have played Alexis in the first place. I also saw a tweet from, I think, 2015, where he said the exact same thing about Eden Hazard, and that was why he was playing Willian and Pedro over him. So, you know how that's turned out with Eden Hazard. He's not doing too badly now when he's been freed up of a bit of defensive work under Maurizio Sarri, is he? For me, Jose's going to go. It's just a matter of time now. What I will say, though, is the players should be thanking Paul Pogba, because right now he is taking 98% of the flack from everybody.
Do you think any of it's warranted?
Some of it's definitely warranted. His attitude's not particularly brilliant, and he was booed off by the away fans on the weekend. But we've got to start pointing fingers at more than just Pogba at the end of the day. Pogba takes all of the responsibility for all of the players on the pitch. Our defence is an absolute joke. Jose Mourinho, once upon a time, could coach a mediocre defence into an absolute behemoth just by parking the bus. It doesn't happen anymore. De Gea's kept 1 clean sheet this season. At this stage last year, he kept 6. It's awful. We've got a -2 goal difference.
I mean, he's got a net spend of £300 million, and you're still playing Scott McTominay at right centre-back, where Herrera played in that game against Spurs, which is arguably your best game of the season performance-wise, not results-wise.
Eric Bailly is on the bench, and
Why?
Scott McTominay is at centre-half.
I mean, that was my next question. He doesn't seem to trust Eric Bailly at all.
It's because Jose Mourinho has basically decided, I'm going to do everything in my power to get sacked.
I feel like he did this when the Chelsea board didn't back him in full.
Exactly.
Beforehand, and he's done it with Real Madrid as well, where he's played players out of position in high-profile games.
Yeah, it's really, really bizarre tactically. Didn't understand the setup whatsoever. Thought the forwards were way too isolated. There was no width. The only width was from Ashley Young. Fair play to Luke Shaw for coming out after the game and saying we were horrific. All the individual performances were a joke. The tactics were a mess. Thank you for Luke Shaw for fronting up, because the rest of the players didn't bother. Paul Pogba walked through the mix zone and said, I can't say anything, otherwise I'll be a dead man, which pretty much sums up the relationship with Jose Mourinho right now. It's an absolute shocker. Obviously, this morning, loads of French media outlets and Spanish media outlets say Zinedine Zidane is already in talks with Manchester United.
And there's your title. Well done.
And Jose Mourinho has apparently received a call from Zinedine Zidane to say, oh, look, Jose, I'm not in talks, which would worry me if I was Jose Mourinho.
Yeah.
Because that basically means he is in talks. Because otherwise, why make the call in the first place?
How did you get my number?
How did you get my number, and why are you on the phone to me?
He 1-4-1'd him.
Please, let's just get Zidane in. He won't be better tactically, but at least he'll manage the situation and get the best out of some of the individuals.
All right, enough for United. Let's move on. We are sorry we have to keep covering them, but chances are they'll be back in the headlines next week.
Probably.
When Jose Mourinho headbutts, he goes full Tony Pulis on Paul Pogba.
And Ed Woodward.
Down the tunnel. All right. Ed Woodward. Moving on to our first winners. Let's be positive.
Our first winner of the day then was sent in by Henry, and of course is Wolverhampton Wanderers.
Henry. Horrible Henry. Henry the Hoover.
Horrible
Name another Henry. Iconic Henry.
Henry
the 8th.
The 8th.
Let us know your iconic Henrys in the comments below. Anyway, moving on to Wolves, who are off to a flyer, aren't they? Unbeaten at home since January. Currently, as it stands, only 3 points off Pochettino's men.
It's the beard.
Nuno Espirito Santos doing the business. And in this game, it was his substitutes that made the difference. It was very attritional until then. Mark Hughes' Southampton side had managed to muddy it up in midfield. Chances were very few and far between. Højbjerg and Moutinho having a decent little battle, but apart from that, no highlights. I was watching on the Football Social and was struggling for positive things to say about this game until Ivan Cavallero entered the fray, scored 94 seconds into his Premier League debut after coming on as a substitute, and props to Adama Traore as well, really adding impetus down that right-hand side, punishing the Southampton left-back when he came on.
And Raul Jimenez, yet again, more great hold-up play from the Mexican. We saw it last weekend and in this one. When Adama Traore gets to the byline, he holds it up, leaves his man, lays it off. Easy finish for Caballero. It's quality by Jimenez.
Extremely unfortunate not to get a goal as well. What a save from Alex McCarthy from that header.
Stinking save.
Almost knocked himself out on the post in the process. But Wolves, like we said last week, I think, possibly the week before, the figure of consistency at the start of this Premier League season. They're only the third team in Premier League history to name the same starting XI for their opening 7 games after Leeds in 1992 and Aston Villa in 2008-9.
Wow.
Trivia. You're welcome. Riveting there. Now, they currently have the 4th best defensive record in the Premier League, which is surprising for someone that's just come up and for someone that plays an expansive brand of football. But they've also scored the same amount of goals as Brighton and West Ham. So, like I said, needed to put away a few goals, needed to convert those chances into goals. And lucky against Manchester United, had 8 shots on target last week at Old Trafford. Didn't equate in terms of the chances taken, in terms of the points taken home, but it did this time round. Now, Wolves take on Crystal Palace this weekend. Of course, they play today. They could possibly overtake Manchester United in the league if Crystal Palace win, which is harrowing. While Southampton play Chelsea at home, who've scored the 2nd most in the league, and I reckon Eden Hazard and co will fancy their chances against this Mark Hughes side, who are absolutely toilet brush, Joe.
Yes, they are utter rubbish right now. They are winless in 7 Premier League games against newly promoted opposition. They've lost both of the last 2. They did have 17 shots in this game, so they weren't completely bereft,
half chances.
but they're half chances at best, aren't they? I think their XG was 0.8 in this one. Wolves rocking 1.5. They're just not really good enough, Southampton, and I've got a horrible suspicion Mark Hughes is going to take them down this season. They seem to be getting worse with each passing game. The loss of Virgil van Dijk in January and the lack of a replacement, or a quality replacement should I say, in the summer is harming them massively. Obviously an incredibly hard player to replace, but they're so shaky at the back. There's still a distinct lack of goals up front and a lack of goal scorer. I know that Danny Ings got off to an okay start and looks fairly lively, but really him and Charlie Austin, are we hoping that either of those is going to get 15 goals this season?
Well, I think the January signing from Monaco, is it Garrido?
Yes.
I think he's gone already. Shane Long doesn't look like a Premier League player anymore. Severe lack of creativity in midfield, despite having really productive players like Nathan Redmond. I don't think Mark Hughes is a sort of manager that is going to get the best out of someone.
This is what happens when you sell a player like Tadic and you sell a player like Buffal. They have really lacked
Tadic was puzzling, wasn't he?
Any sort of attacking impetus. Obviously, Stuart Armstrong came on in this game, but again, not really used in the same way Celtic did. You obviously talked about him getting in behind players and burning past them, burning past the forwards. He's kind of used in a similar sort of role as Stephen Davis for Southampton. Yeah,
and he was playing like as an auxiliary left back when he came on and got absolutely buoyed for the first goal.
Yeah, I mean, he gets absolutely hammered by Doherty for that first goal. But Southampton just look poor. Cardiff, Huddersfield and Southampton, for me, are currently looking like the most likely sides to go down.
Yeah, did you say Huddersfield?
Worrying. Yeah, Cardiff, Huddersfield and Southampton.
Yeah, I mean, Cardiff are gone, aren't they? They're shot to bits, and I actually do feel for Neil Warnock a bit because they geared up for another season of the Championship in the summer quite clearly.
I know.
They knew they were going down, but Huddersfield and Southampton, ugly scenes. I mean, Bournemouth. I thought Bournemouth
could have been in there, but
they're miles better than the pair of them.
They've started really well. Southampton, though, continue to be awful, but props to Wolves and Nuno Espirito Santos. It gets better and better.
And we talk about Southampton struggling for goals. What about this inept Newcastle side? This suggestion coming from @go_Archie2K18. Our first losers, deservedly so. Absolutely dreadful against Leicester.
Yes, lost 2-0 against Leicester on the weekend, and they are embarrassingly bad this season, Newcastle. Don't know how I forgot to include them in the relegation candidates just a minute ago. Obviously, they've taken 2 points this season. Both of them have been 0-0s against Cardiff and Palace. They attempted 6 shots in this one in 90 minutes. They are awful going forward. Hosselu, 2 goals. No other striker in the squad has scored this season. They're taking just 7-point shots a game. That's the lowest in the entire league. Just 1.8 shots per 90 on target this season. And they're conceding 15. They are awful at the back. Their midfield's a shambles. The strikers are a joke. The board's a disgrace. Peter Kenyon is apparently coming in with bids. And when he's rescuing you, you know you're in real trouble. Rafa Benitez, if it wasn't for the payout, he'd be long gone. Newcastle fans, you may as well start supporting Middlesbrough now.
Led by Tony Pulis. Now, I'm a little bit confused as to why they let someone like Mitrovic go, Dwight Gale go, increasingly confused as you watch how bad this Newcastle side are going forward. Now, I know those players weren't exactly simpatico with Rafa and his methods, but desperate times call for desperate measures. You keep hold of goal scorers when Joselu is spearheading that attack. And like you said, I don't know where they're coming from. Muto, the new signing, looks bad at this point, and I don't want to, jump the gun, but
get back in the sewer.
It looks
Teenage Muto Ninja Turtles. Get him back.
Mucho bad.
Awful.
Anyhow, Leicester, conversely, going from strength to strength. They've moved up to 7th with 12 points to open this season. James Maddison, a £20 million man from Norwich, is looking like a hell of an acquisition at this point. He's sort of taken to that number 10 role like a duck to water. He's got 3 goals and 2 assists already, both a high at his club. And Gareth Southgate was there, no doubt. He impressed him in this game.
He's getting a call-up.
Is an England call-up on the cards.
It is.
In the UEFA Nations League. Woo! Harry Maguire also hit the ground running despite a short summer. He's already netted twice and is averaging 3.8 tackles and interceptions every 90 this Premier League season. And he made an absolute cruncher.
It was.
A last-ditch tackle on a Newcastle player. His name escaped me, but it was very satisfying to see. Now, with Manchester United struggling this season, could Leicester possibly challenge them for a UEFA Cup spot? Wow. Is that actually a question on this sheet? How do you feel? How does that make you feel? Because the fact that's actually a
United, Leicester and
scenario
Wolves battling for the Europa League
is
Jose.
Anyhow, moving on. Up next for Leicester, is Everton, while Newcastle make the trip to Old Trafford on Saturday for an evening kickoff.
If Jose loses that,
end of days. On to our next winner, quickly.
our last and final winners, Everton. Scotty354 sent this one in, Hamdog.
Yes, Everton haven't won in just over a month, Joseph, but they managed to do just that, recording their second victory of the season against Fulham, dispatching of the Cottagers 3-0. Now, the result probably should have been expected, as Everton have won their past 22 top-flight home games against Fulham, a record in the English top division. There you have it, best stat of the week. Possession-wise, the game was fairly balanced. Everton took 19 shots, with 6 coming on target, compared to the Cottagers' 6 shots, with 0 coming on target. So just for chances created, Everton definitely deserving this. But had it not been for the woodwork, Fulham would have gone 1-0 up, with Ryan Sessegnon crashing a shot
Got to score
off the top of the crossbar. He's now featured in all 7 of Fulham's Premier League games and is becoming an increasingly important aspect of that attack. Obviously has been rotating with Vieto Jukanovic kind of blooding him in pretty carefully, given how demanding the Premier League can be. So maybe we'll see more from him moving forward, particularly away from home. Now, Fulham level with Cardiff and Huddersfield for the most goals conceded in the league on 16. Not great company to keep, and we said at the start of the season, didn't we, that Fulham maybe a little bit naive away from home, but sort of respected them for the way they were sticking to their guns. Maybe we'll see a more conservative approach from Jukanovic moving forward. Of course, brought Tim Ream back in for this game, so maybe we'll see them shut up shop a little bit more, sort of 10 games in. I don't know. Jukanovic maybe will just stick to his guns.
Yeah, I think they've got a little bit of Swansea vibes about them when they first came up, just trying to stick to the way they played, but equally struggling a little bit at the back, so I'm expecting Fulham to bring in some defensive reinforcements in January. Let's touch upon Everton then, because they are the winners here. The goals coming from Gylfi Sigurdsson and Cenk Tosun, who has been hammered by Everton fans since his £20 million arrival in January. He's ended a run of 9 games for club and country without a goal. Things didn't start particularly well for Gylfi either, though, missing his first ever penalty in the Premier League, crashing it against the crossbar. However, just 4 minutes later, he found the box. Another one from outside the area. He's
Lovely
now scored
finish.
18 from outside the area since 2011. Only PC Philippe Coutinho has more, and he left for Barcelona, didn't he? Theo Walcott also amongst the goals as well. Grabbed an assist for Tosun's, didn't he? He's had a hand in 4 in 5 games now. 2 goals, 2 assists. Expecting him to kind of get anywhere upwards of 10 this season. I I think he's going to be having a good year.
He needs to bump his shot numbers up. Not great at the minute, 1.3. I think he had a couple in this game, though.
If he can be involved in 10 goals and assists this season, I think he'll be pretty happy, Theo Walcott. He kind of averages that across his career, doesn't he? So I think he'll be pretty happy, and I'm sure Marco Silva likes him out on that wide right roll. Got there eventually.
Jam roll.
Everton playing poor Southampton team, obviously in the Carabao Cup tomorrow. Then they face Leicester. That'll be a decent game. Marco Silva versus Paul. What's his name? The Toffees now face Southampton in the Carabao Cup tomorrow before going to Leicester on Saturday. But what are your thoughts on Marco Silva's start to the season? Let us know in the comments below.
Last losers then, time to wrap up the show. And this one comes from @SteveSeagull. Like it.
Love it.
And he's put Brighton in the bin somewhat harshly because Man City.
Yeah. I mean, going away to the Etihad as Brighton, not the easiest match, is it? They've fallen to 15th in the league with that 2-0 loss. They've lost all 8 of their away matches to the top 6. I mean, since winning back-to-back Premier League games against West Ham and Swansea last November, Brighton have collected just 5 points from the 17 away matches that have followed. 1-0, drawn 5, lost 12. So not great on the road, and unsurprisingly, the game was dominated by City. Brighton only managed 20% possession, took 4 shots and had 1 on target. City took 28 shots in this one and had 8 on target. Had it not been for Matt Ryan, the score could have been pretty ugly. He made 7 saves. He's averaging 4.5 saves per 90 this season. Now, the opening goal came from Raheem Sterling, our favourite man. We love a bit of Raheem. The Englishman turned provider for Agüero's goal as well. Just love Raheem Sterling. Let's move on to Man City because it's pretty harsh to put Brighton in the losers when you're playing a behemoth like the Citizens.
He made the Seagulls look like pigeons, didn't he, old Raheem? He's now been involved in 35 Premier League goals since the start of last season. That's 22 goals and 13 assists, a haul only bettered by Mohamed Salah and Harry Kane. Agüero, meanwhile, not bad in this game either. Their goal where they linked up was delectable.
Bloody beautiful.
Stunning stuff.
And what was his reward? Hooked.
Hauled off straight afterwards. But to absolutely no effect.
No.
All hugs and smiles on the sideline.
That's good man management.
Yeah, it was just stark contrast to your boys over at United, but let's not talk about them again. Agüero, meanwhile, has been directly involved in 18 goals in his last 11 Premier League games at the Etihad. That's 15 goals and 3 assists. Loves to do it in front of the home crowd. Manchester City are rolling again and top of the league on goal difference. Now, after 7 games, the team are averaging 3 goals scored, and 0.4 goals conceded per match, which is a pretty successful formula, isn't it? Now, those figures match up almost perfectly with expected goals as well, which pegs them as the best attacking and defensive side in the division. So, look, hasn't even come into it yet. They are bang on form.
Shock.
Now, in fact, they actually rank first in Europe for shots per game, which is 21, shots on target per game, 9, and shots against them per game, which is 6.
It's almost like they're the best team in Europe.
So just ruthless continuity from Pep's men. Next up is Hoffenheim, and they're going to get absolute Hoffenheimed.
I don't know. Not so sure. I think City aren't quite as good in Europe.
What?
As proven by the Lyon result.
Lost to RB Leipzig at the weekend, and they lost to Salzburg.
How did Lyon get on at the weekend?
Don't know. Why are you asking me that?
Because they probably didn't beat City at the Etihad. Oh, wait, yes, they did. How did that happen?
Oh, wait, yes, they did.
How did that happen? So that's the end of Winners and Losers for yet another week. Don't forget to enter our FIFA giveaway competition. Thanks to EA Sports for that one. All you got to do is follow these 2 handles and leave a comment with the hashtag GiveMeFIFA. What else is available on the Football Daily Network today, though, Hamill? Okay, Stat Wars The League went live on Saturday over on Euro Football Daily. Of course, go and check out Sunday Vibes from yesterday, where we discussed the potential of Juventus swapping Dybala for Paul Pogba. And in an hour's time, all being well, Euro Roundup will go live on Euro Football Daily. And don't forget to watch non-league vlogs with this man behind the camera, James Wayne. The burger reviews are back. Not his best, but he's already ate that burger before, hasn't he? So, go and subscribe.